I got to tell you, maybe I got a question more than I do a statement. Did Khabib just leave MMA? Now, that is quite literally the headline that I'm reading. I'm going to tell you what it says. Khabib Nurmagomedov. Did he just leave MMA for good with a question mark? Okay, great. That'd be really interesting to me. I mean, that would be big news. This is a very important guy. So we come down here, and Khabib says, I hope I made the right decision. I hope it's best for all of my brothers. Keep training hard. All right. So then I go, and the source of this is Khabib himself through Instagram. So I go to his actual Instagram page, because some of that doesn't make sense. Right? We start out with, I hope I made the right decision. Well, what in the hell was the decision? What is it we're talking about? I hope this is good to all of my brothers. What does that mean? Because Khabib, does he have actual brothers? Is that an expression that he uses? I know he's got cousins. I know he's got relatives. There's a Nurmagomedov that he corners over in Bellator. There said Nurmagomedov right here. The UFC. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure this thing out. When I go to his actual Instagram page, the whole thing's written in Russian. I can't understand any of it. So this is where the question comes, because I would get that. Now, that would be a surprise only because Khabib is so incredibly enveloped. One of the reasons that he did not go to 30-0, and that was a pie. There was a lot of pieces there. And I know what you guys were disclosed, the loss of his father. And the other part we were disclosed, which is he promised his mother. And the other part you were disclosed that he wanted to be with his family. I do get a piece of the pie, but a large part of that was because of the loss of his father, Khabib now is to oversee the team. It is very hard and very rare to coach at a high level while competing at a high level. It is extremely rare because one is selfish and one is selfless. So when Khabib retired, I thought, okay, that's going to open up the opportunity. Now, this is just me as an observer. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to open up the opportunity. And sure enough, I was right for him as a coach. Khabib was putting on Eagle FC, and we would be at those events. Well, here's an exact story that I saw with my own eyes, just to paint a perspective for you. So these events go down in Florida, and I happened to be on a red eye. So I get into the hotel lobby at 1 a.m. It was about 12:55 a.m. I'm checking in. Khabib is checking in at the same time. Now, the following morning, and I'm a morning guy. I do not sleep very much. But the following morning, I'm downstairs because they didn't do room service because there was COVID, right? So I've got to go downstairs to get a cup of coffee. I'm down there. This guy, that's funny, actually. I'm down there at 5:30 in the morning. And when I'm down there, Khabib is also down there. And he's sweating. He's all suited up with an athlete that's got his sweats on and his hood up. Khabib's up trying to help a guy cut weight. That's the point I'm getting at. He got in at 1 a.m. and he was already at 5:30, partway through a training session with an athlete. Now, Khabib is putting on this event. So not only is he putting on the event, he then has to adhere to the commission. He then needs to get his own athletes ready before he goes to the event, and he has to call it while he's in a student in a decision-making role. It was really a lot to take on. But this was still on a Friday. So the next day I travel home, and it represents Saturday. And that Saturday, there was a Bellator in Arizona, and Khabib is in the corner of the opponent who fought Benson Henderson. I'm going, oh my God, how do you even get there? Like, how did you even get this flight? Okay, fair enough, you did. And then, it was right into the very next day. And the very next day, I think, was separated. I think it was 48 hours, but it ends up being Fight Week for a UFC in a totally another state and jurisdiction. And he's there with his other teammates. And it was just one of these incredible spots where you do look at it, you do look at the dedication, and you realize you can only run that hard for so long. You just can't. You can only run like that for so long. And I don't think that Khabib's done. I don't. I think there's a misinterpretation here. I think there was clickbait going on. When I went to Khabib's actual Instagram, which you're welcome to do, but it was written in a language that I just couldn't understand it. So maybe there is a little bit more to the story. I will just share with you, if Khabib were to step aside, if he were to step aside from coaching or to leave the gym, does a lot of work at the AKA, of course, with Javier Mendez, Daniel Cormier, by example. If Khabib was to return home to Dagestan and just stay in that region with his family, spend a little bit more time there. The reason this would be such big news is if that is in fact what Khabib said, which that's not my interpretation, not yet at least. But if it is what he said, it's what he'll do. We don't have anybody in this sport, few men alive, that if they say something, they follow through more than Khabib. I don't know that he's gone that far, and I don't know what the reasoning would be. I just share with you, this guy is like Midas. Whatever he touches is turned to gold. And if he were to step away from MMA, it isn't to go sit at home and watch television, because he's going to do something else with his time. And that really is what would be of most interest, at least to me. What is Khabib focused on? What direction is Khabib going in? It's whether he likes to live a little bit more of the quiet life or not. The reality is we're interested in him. And we're going to support him, and some other parts of it, we're going to be nosy, and we're going to figure out what he's up to and where he's doing it at. Khabib's a hot issue. Is he done with MMA? Right now, my own opinion, I think that was clickbait.